pole. With the hook and the string and the cake and the box, George went back to the lake. George sat down and he put the line into the water. Now he had to wait, just like the man waited. George was curious. The fish were curious too. All kinds of fish came to look at the line. Big fish, little fish, fat fish, thin fish, red fish, yellow fish, and blue fish. One of them was near the hook. The cake was what it wanted. Soon the line shook. There must be a fish on the hook. George pulled up the line and the cake was gone, but there was no fish. George put more cake on the hook. Maybe this time he would get a fish. But nope, the fish just took the cake and went away. Well, if George could not get the fish would not get the cake. George would eat it. He liked cake too. George looked into the water. The big red one was out there with the long tail. He was so near that maybe he could get it with his hands. What do you think's going to happen? Anybody want to make a prediction or a guess? I think I know. Splash! George fell into the water. The water was cold and wet, and George was cold and wet too. This was no fun at all. When he came out of the water, Bill was there with his kite. "My, you were wet," said Bill. "I saw you fall in, so I came to get you out. Too bad you didn't get a fish, but it is good that the fish didn't get you. Now I can show you how high my kite can fly." Bill put his kite up near a tree, and off they ran. So Bill was a good friend to come help. There was a lot of wind that day, and that was just what they needed. The wind took the kite up fast. George was too little to hold it. A kite that big could fly away with him, so Bill had to hold it. They let the kite fly for a long time until Bill said, "I will get the kite down now. I must go home and you should too." But when Bill pulled the kite string, it got stuck in the top of a high tree. "Oh no, my new kite! I cannot let go of it. I must have it back," Bill said, "but the tree is too high for me." You can see a little squirrel in that tree too. But no tree was too high for George. He went all the way to the top and little by little got the string out of the tree. You see George, he climbed all the way up the tree because monkeys are good climbers. But down he came and he gave the kite back to Bill. "Thank you, George. Thanks a lot. I am so happy to have the kite back. Now you can have a ride home on my bike. I will run back to the lake and get it. You wait here with my kite, but do not let it fly away." Now, do you think George is going to listen? George looked at the kite. Then he took the string in his hand. He knew he could not fly the kite in the wind, but maybe he could let it go up just a little bit. George was curious. He let the string go a little, and then a little more, and a little more, and a little more. When Bill came back, there was no kite and there was no George. "George," he yelled, "where are you?" Then he looked up. There they were, way up in the sky. Bill had to get help fast. He would go to the man with the yellow hat. The man would know what to do. See George way up in the sky. That's why Bill didn't want him to use the kite. "George is not here," Bill told the man. "Have you seen him?" "George and my kite are up in the sky," said Bill. "I came to—" But the man did not wait. He knew Bill needed help. He ran to his car and jumped in. "I will get him back," he said. "I must get George back." All this time, the wind took the kite up, and George went with it. It was fun to fly in the sky, but when George looked down, it wasn't fun anymore. He was up so high that all the big houses looked as tiny as the little bunny houses. George did not like it. He wanted to get down, but how? Not even a monkey can jump from the sky. George was scared. What if he never got back? Maybe he would fly on and never be curious again. And then he decided if he could just get home this one time, he would always listen and would never do things being curious that he wasn't supposed to do. What was that? George could hear something. Then he saw something flying in the sky just like a kite. It was a little helicopter, and in the helicopter, hooray, was the man with the yellow hat. Down from the helicopter came a long line. George got a hold of it, and the man with the yellow hat pulled him up. George held onto the kite so he could give it back to Bill. "I am so happy to have you back, George," said the man with the yellow hat. "I was scared, and you must have been scared too. I know you will not want to fly a kite again for a long time. You must give it back to Bill when we get home." "Hooray!" Bill shouted when George came to give him the kite. "George is back, and my kite is too." And then Bill took George by the hand and went with him into the little garden. And from the little garden, they went into the big garden where the little bunny house was. "Here is one of my baby bunnies," Bill said. "Take it. It is for you." A baby bunny for George. George took it in his hands and he held it way up. It was his bunny now, and he could take it home with him. And that is just what he did. All right, friends, that's the end of Curious George Flies a Kite. Look for more Curious George books later or tomorrow. Bye.